All right, so today we're going to be diving into something I think a lot of people wonder about.
Yeah.
It's how to make the leap from a side hustle to a main hustle.
Yeah. That's the dream, right?
That is the dream,
For a lot of folks.
I think, for a lot of people. And we're going to be going through entrepreneur Alex Hormozy's
Yes.
3 steps he has for this process.
What's interesting is that Alex doesn't really make a huge distinction between the two.
Okay.
He says your side hustle is just a main hustle that hasn't grown enough yet
Ooh, I like that.
to support you.
Yeah, so it's all about potential,
Exactly.
not labels.
It's not about what you call it. It's about the potential.
Love it. All right, so where do we start?
Well, step 1 is all about having a solid financial foundation.
Okay.
He is very adamant about this. You want to make sure that you're financially stable before you even think about quitting your day job.
Got it.
He actually saved $50,000 over 2 years
Wow.
while working in consulting.
Okay, so 2 years of really serious saving. But I can see how that would make the transition a lot less scary.
Absolutely. And that financial cushion isn't just about paying your bills.
Yeah.
It's about giving yourself the headspace
Yeah.
to actually focus on growing your side hustle without that pressure of, needing it to work.
Right.
Or else you're going to be homeless.
Right. You're not in that, like, do or die situation.
Exactly. He calls this a safety net.
I like it.
And he recommends having at least 6 months of living expenses
Okay.
saved up.
That makes a lot of sense. And I think that's something that people maybe don't always think about.
Yeah.
I think people are very eager to
Jump
right in.
at first.
And then it's like, wait a minute,
If
this
it
doesn't work
doesn't,
out.
You're in trouble.
Yeah. So I like that idea of the safety net. So you can experiment.
Mhm.
You can take risks,
Absolutely.
but you're not putting your entire livelihood
Exactly.
on the line.
You have some breathing room.
Yeah. So thinking about your own situation, how
Mhm.
much would you need to have
Oh, gosh, that's a
to feel comfortable?
good question.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, everyone's situation is different,
Right.
and it depends on your risk tolerance.
Right.
But I think having at least 6 months
Yeah.
would give me a lot of peace of mind.
Okay. Yeah. So 6 months, that's a good starting point.
Yeah.
At least.
But of course, think about your own situation,
Yeah.
your expenses, and what makes you comfortable.
Right. And everyone's going to have a different number.
For sure.
All right. So step 1, we've got that financial foundation. Step 2.
Step 2 is about matching income.
Okay.
So Alex's goal was to make sure that his side hustle was generating
Yeah.
at least as much income as his job before he quit.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you can pay the bills.
Right.
But is he always that strict about it?
He does mention an interesting exception to that rule.
Okay.
So if you have a side hustle that could logically scale up with that extra time freedom that you would have, then taking the leap might be worth it, even if you haven't reached that full income parity.
So income parity, just so we're clear for folks,
Yes.
means
Side hustle equals your job.
your side hustle is making the same amount as your job.
Yes, exactly.
Oh.
So it's not always about hitting a specific number.
Got it.
It's more about making sure that you're looking at the potential of your side hustle.
Okay. So let's think about Alex's story here.
Yeah.
He was running a fitness thing on the side, but it was like a charity gig.
It was a charity project.
So he was making like $4,000 a month,
Yeah.
which is impressive.
Very impressive.
What-
Not quite enough to replace his $50,000 a year job.
Right. And this is where things get interesting.
Yeah.
Instead of starting something totally new,
Mm-hmm.
he asked his clients,
Yeah.
hey, would you pay me for this?
Exactly.
Instead of donating to the charity.
He just changed the way that he was getting paid.
Wow. So he basically like flipped his business model
Yeah.
overnight.
Pretty much.
And it worked.
And it worked because he was already providing value.
Right.
So his clients were happy to pay him directly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, so he turned his $48,000 a year side hustle
Mm-hmm.
into a $50,000 a year business
That's amazing.
without having to find new clients.
Yeah, he leveraged what he already had.
I love that. And it really shows that you don't always have to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
Sometimes it's just about looking at what you're already doing
Mm-hmm.
and thinking, okay, is there a different way that I can package this?
Yeah,
Is there a different way I can position this?
exactly.
And then boom, you're making more money.
Potentially.
So how could you scale up your side hustle to match your income?
That's a great question to think about.
Yeah.
I think it's all about looking at the resources you have,
Mhm.
the skills that you have, and figuring out how you can apply those
Yeah.
in a way that generates more revenue.
Okay, so we've got our financial foundation. We're matching income.
Now we need to prove it's sustainable.
Okay, so step 3.
Step 3 is all about proving the sustainability of your side hustle.
Okay.
You don't want to base this huge life decision
Right.
on a lucky streak
Oh, yeah, of course not.
or a one-time windfall.
Or a fluke.
Right. You need to know that this is something that can actually last.
You need to know that this is going to be consistent.
Exactly.
So how did Alex approach this?
He waited until his clients had been consistently paying him
Okay.
for 6 months
Oh, wow.
before he fully committed to the transition.
That's really smart. So you're not just looking at the income, but also
Exactly.
how consistent it is.
On the consistency of it.
Because no one wants to ride that roller coaster of like
Feast or famine.
feast or famine,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to your livelihood.
Right. Especially if this is going to be your main source of income.
Yeah.
You need to know that it's reliable.
Mm-hmm.
So think about it. How would you test the sustainability of your side hustle's income?
Oh, that's a really important question. I think, for some people, it might be about securing a certain number of recurring clients.
Mm-hmm.
For other people, it might be about hitting a certain revenue target consistently
Yeah.
for a certain period of time.
Yeah.
It's going to be different for everybody.
Exactly.
But it's about finding ways to build confidence
Absolutely.
in that income stream.
You need to have that peace of mind,
Yeah.
knowing that you can rely on it.
Okay, so we've talked about the financial security, matching income,
Proving sustainability.
proving sustainability. Those are the first 3 steps.
That's Alex's framework.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation.
It really is, you have that solid income stream, but then what if you're like, wait,
Yeah.
this isn't even what I want to be doing?
Right.
That's where the next layer of Alex's advice comes in.
Okay.
So he's a big believer in choosing a side hustle
Mhm.
that actually plays to your existing strengths and skills.
Okay, so don't necessarily quit your job
No.
to go chase some passion
Yeah.
project that you have 0 experience in.
Yeah, he's all about practicality here.
Yeah.
He says, starting with something familiar,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's not your ultimate dream business,
Right.
gives you a huge head start because you can learn those essential skills
Yeah.
like marketing,
Right. Client management.
client management, all that stuff,
All that good stuff.
without starting totally from scratch.
It's like leveling up your character
Yes.
before you go fight the final boss.
Exactly. I love that analogy.
Right.
And he makes this point that most successful entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't just magically find that one perfect business idea.
Right.
It was about gaining experience
Mm-hmm.
and building upon that.
Right. So it's more about becoming an entrepreneur
Yes.
first and then.
That initial experience is what's really valuable.
And I think that's something that people maybe don't always
Yeah.
realize.
I think there's this myth of,
Yeah.
the overnight success.
Yeah.
But that's rarely the reality.
But didn't Alex kind of do that, though?
Well, he did something interesting early on
Yeah.
where he offered his services for free.
Yeah. He did the fitness thing.
Yes.
For free for a while.
And that raised some eyebrows
Yeah.
because, most people are trying to monetize from day one.
Right. Right.
But he was playing the long game.
Yeah. He was building a client base,
Yeah.
was honing his skills.
And building relationships.
He wasn't just chasing the quick cash.
Right.
Yeah. That's really interesting. And it shows, you don't always have to follow the traditional path.
Exactly.
Speaking of not following the traditional path,
Right.
let's talk about risk.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex's situation was very unique.
He was very aware of his overhead
Right.
because he didn't have,
You didn't have a ton of money to fall back on.
he wasn't like, Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg,
Right, exactly.
with a trust fund.
Yeah, he was like bootstrapping it.
Yeah, he had to be really careful.
So how did he handle the risk when things were so tight?
Well, he kept his living expenses incredibly low.
Oh.
He rented a room from a guy he knew at the gym
Okay.
for $400 a month.
Wow.
He meal prepped religiously.
So he was all in,
He was minimizing his overhead.
which I guess takes the pressure off needing to make a ton of money right away,
Exactly.
right? Because if your expenses are low,
You don't need as much in-house
you don't need as much income
to survive.
to just survive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some takeaways here for our listeners?
So if you're thinking about, reducing your overhead
Yeah.
to give your side hustle some breathing room,
Mm-hmm.
there are tons of options.
Yeah.
It depends on your situation, of course.
Right.
But maybe it's downsizing your living space.
Okay.
Maybe it's, finding creative ways to cut expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's even, taking on a temporary side gig
That's a good point.
that offers more flexibility.
Yeah. So maybe it's not even about quitting your job.
Right.
It's about finding a different job
Potentially.
that gives you more time and
Exactly.
more flexibility
To pursue your passion.
to pursue your passion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all about playing that long game.
Now, we've talked about financial security,
Mm.
matching income, proving sustainability.
Right.
But there's one other element that Alex hits on that I think is really crucial,
Okay.
and that's mindset.
Ooh, the mental game.
Yes, the mental game of entrepreneurship.
Right, lay it on me.
So Alex is big on resilience.
Okay.
He sees challenges as opportunities to learn,
Okay.
and he's all about experimenting and being okay with making mistakes.
Which is easier said than done
I know, right?
when you're stressed about paying rent.
Especially when you're first starting out, but
Yeah.
that give-up mentality,
Right.
it won't get you very far.
It's not going to get you anywhere.
No, you have to be willing to push through
Mm-hmm.
those tough times.
Okay, so resilience is super important.
Absolutely.
What else?
He also stresses the importance of having a support system.
Okay.
So surround yourself with people who get it,
Yeah.
who can offer encouragement and keep you accountable.
It's like having your own personal cheer squad.
Yeah, exactly, because let's be real,
Mm-hmm.
ditching a stable paycheck
Right.
for the uncertainty of entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
that can be an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, you're going to have your highs and your lows.
Absolutely.
But if you have those people
Yeah,
in your corner,
to support you.
it makes it a lot easier.
It makes a huge difference.
Okay, so resilience support system,
Mindset.
mindset.
Yeah.
Okay, so for our listeners out there,
Yeah.
are you approaching your side hustle
Mm-hmm.
with that kind of growth mindset?
Even if you're not ready to quit your job just yet.
Even if you're not there yet? Are you like
Are you embracing challenges?
embracing those challenges?
Are you constantly
Are
learning?
you learning those new skills?
Are you pushing yourself a little bit further?
Yeah, pushing yourself further. Yeah.
And even in your current job,
Yeah.
are you looking for ways to build those entrepreneurial muscles?
Oh, that's interesting.
You know?
Yeah.
Because even a job you don't love can teach you a lot about how to run a business.
Totally. You
Yeah.
can learn so much.
Absolutely. That's all about perspective.
Yeah.
You can either be passive or you can be actively extracting valuable lessons
Oh, I like that. Actively extracting
Yeah.
valuable lessons.
from your experience.
From your experience. Okay, I love that.
All right, so circling back
Okay.
to something that Alex emphasized,
Mm-hmm.
starting small,
Yeah.
building that solid foundation.
Okay.
He has this pyramid analogy.
Yeah, I like this. I'm picturing a pyramid.
Right.
You can't have a skyscraper without a strong base.
Exactly.
So what are those building blocks?
So he talks about financial stability,
Okay.
knowing your target market inside and out,
Yeah.
having a business model that actually works,
Mm-hmm.
and strong relationships.
Ooh, strong
Yeah,
relationships.
those are the essentials.
Those are the essentials, so no skipping ahead.
No, you can't skip steps.
Got to lay that groundwork.
You got to build that solid foundation.
Okay, so for our listeners who are just starting out,
Yeah.
what's the first brick they should be laying?
I would say understanding their target market.
Okay, target market.
Who are you serving?
Hmm?
What are their needs?
What keeps them up at night?
What keeps them up at night?
What are they searching for?
Yeah, what are their pain points?
What are their pain points exactly? So it's not just about having a cool idea.
Right.
It's about making sure that there's an audience.
Is there a need for this?
Who wants what you're offering?
Yeah, are people actually willing to pay for this?
Okay, and then once you have that target market figured out,
Then it's about experimenting
so,
with your business model
Mhm.
and your marketing.
So don't be afraid to try things out
Yeah, don't be afraid to fail.
and adjust along the way
Absolutely.
and ask for help.
Yes.
There's so many people out there,
Mentors,
mentors,
coaches,
other entrepreneurs
other entrepreneurs who've been there
who've been there, done that,
and made the mistakes.
Yeah. and made the mistakes so you don't have to.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Yeah.
target market experiment, ask for help.
And remember, building a successful side hustle takes time.
Yeah.
It takes grit.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing as an overnight success.
Yeah, you're going to have to put in the work.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, and it requires a lot of faith
Yes.
in yourself,
In yourself and your vision.
in your vision. Yeah. Okay, so for our listeners who are feeling like really pumped
Yeah.
and they're ready to take action,
Yeah.
what is the very first move they should make?
Write down your goals.
Okay, write down your goals.
And then break those goals down
Mm.
into smaller steps.
Smaller steps.
Because it's all about creating a roadmap
Yeah,
for your side hustle journey.
I love that.
Something you can refer back to
Mm-hmm.
and adjust as you go.
So you're not overwhelmed.
Exactly.
You're just focused on those little milestones.
Yeah. Those small wins
Those small wins.
that keep you motivated.
And even the smallest step forward
is still progress.
It's still progress.
It all adds up.
It all adds up. Okay, we've gone through a ton of information
I know, right?
in this deep dive.
We have.
But I want to leave our listeners
Yes.
with a final thought
Okay.
from Alex that really resonated with me.
So he says that real success,
Okay.
it's not just about following some rigid formula.
Okay.
It's really about developing that entrepreneurial mindset.
Okay.
So it's the way you think,
Yeah.
the way you approach challenges. That's really what's going to set you apart.
So it's like adaptability,
Exactly.
resourcefulness, that willingness to constantly learn and evolve.
He's all about embracing failure.
Oh, embracing failure.
Yeah.
Not in like a celebrate messing up way.
Right. But as like a necessary part
Yeah.
of the process.
Of the learning process.
Yes.
Because I think sometimes those mistakes are the things that teach you
Absolutely.
the most.
One of those valuable lessons.
The most valuable lessons.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta screw up a few times.
You got to screw up. You got to learn.
To figure it out.
Yeah.
But that takes a certain kind of person.
Yeah.
You know, someone who's not afraid to take risks.
Right.
And push boundaries.
Entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not.
But it can also be so rewarding.
It can be incredibly rewarding.
Yeah.
Both personally and professionally.
When you're building something you truly believe in, something that's making a difference,
Yeah.
I think that's when those tough moments don't feel so bad anymore.
The rewards become so much bigger than just money.
Yeah. Okay. So remember that question we posed earlier?
Yes.
What if your true passion
What if you have no experience?
is something you have zero experience in?
Right.
That's a tough one.
That's a tricky one.
And I think a lot of people feel stuck in
Yeah.
that situation.
Like, I hate my job,
Yeah.
but I don't know how to do anything else.
Right.
But Alex's story is actually really inspiring here. Because he didn't start out as a fitness guru.
Right.
He actually had an engineering background,
Interesting.
but he was passionate about fitness.
Okay.
He was passionate about helping people reach their goals. So he just dove in head first.
He dove in.
Yeah, he learned everything he could.
Wow.
He got certified as a trainer, and he built his business from scratch.
So it's a really good reminder that we are all capable of learning new things,
Absolutely.
regardless of where we're starting from.
We are not limited by our past experiences.
And these days, there are so many resources out there.
Oh my gosh, so many.
You can take online courses, you can
Workshops.
workshops, mentorship.
There's no excuse.
So the key is taking that first step,
Yes.
being proactive
Be proactive about your own growth.
about your own growth. Yeah.
And never stop learning.
Never stop learning. Okay, so let's get practical.
Okay.
What is some advice
Yeah.
for someone who wants to bridge that gap between their current skills and their dream side hustle? Start small.
Okay, start small.
Don't quit your job just yet.
Yeah.
Dip your toes in the water first.
Okay.
Maybe it's a side project.
Okay.
Maybe it's volunteering in your field.
Okay.
Maybe it's shadowing someone
Shadowing someone. That's a good one.
who's already doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about testing the water.
Testing the waters.
Seeing if that passion can actually translate into a real business or career.
Right.
And as you gain experience
Yeah.
and confidence,
Get confident.
then you can gradually ramp up your involvement.
So for anyone out there feeling stuck
Yes.
or unfulfilled,
Feeling lost.
there is a way forward.
There's always a way forward.
It might not be easy,
It might not be easy.
but it is possible.
It is definitely possible.
All right, well, that brings us to the end
Wow.
of our deep dive
Time flying.
into the world of side hustles and main hustles.
You covered a lot today. We did.
We talked about Alex's 3-step process,
Yeah.
the importance of managing risk,
Mhm.
that all-important entrepreneurial mindset.
That mindset.
Yeah.
And hopefully we've inspired some of you
Fingers crossed.
to take that leap,
Yes.
whether it's starting a new venture
Or just shifting your perspective
or just shifting your perspective
on your current work.
on your current work.
Because remember, there's no one right path.
Mm-hmm.
It's about finding what works for you,
What works for you?
what aligns with your values,
Yeah.
and what helps you create a life that you love.
Well, if you create a life you love. I love that.
Yeah.
So keep exploring.
Keep experimenting.
Keep experimenting.
Keep believing in yourself.
Keep believing in yourself, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.
See you later.